Hi, are you an aspiring author wondering how on earth to promote and sell your book? Well, I'm Jennifer, the traveling publisher, and I'm here with my friend and author, Scott Gendal, and we're going to talk about just that. Hi, Scott.
What's going on, Jennifer? How are you?
No, I'm great. How are you?
I'm excellent. I'm
This
beautiful.
this is his awesome book. One of the greatest books I have ever read, and I've worked on thousands. That's all I ever wanted to be. And so Scott put this book out in about a year ago, 6 months ago.
Correct. A little over a year ago, Jennifer.
And we are here to talk about promoting and marketing one's book. And so Scott has how many reviews on Amazon?
I got over 55-star reviews, Jennifer.
Which is amazing. So number one, that's like the first thing we tell people to do, and you have already done it. Can you offer any advice? How did you do that? Were you asking people? Is that just because everybody loves your book?
I think, I grew up sort of like in a social network where I'm from in Long Island, and people know who I am. And people read my book from high school, and the word sort of spread from there, from high school to the people I went to college with, friends and family. And it kind of took on a life of its own and then, once people read it and they felt so passionate about it, they recommended it to somebody else to read, and it kind of grew from there, kind of organically.
That's tremendous. And I believe that's the best way for things to happen is just by word of mouth and organic. And also, let's face it, if we don't have gazillions of dollars, that's the way we have to do it. But 55-star reviews is a phenomenal accomplishment. And so I think where you are, my friend, is such a very admirable place to be, where you've already sold a lot of books, you've gone to a certain level, but now you've plateaued, right?
Yeah.
And you need to know, what do I do to get to the next level? And I think personally, what needs to be done at this point is kind of like dig deep and think, what makes me special? What makes my book special? Who is the ideal person for my book? So can you share just a little bit about your book? Like what general gist, who would love your book?
Yeah, well, I think my book is really universal. I think it's a story that everybody can enjoy, all age groups, male or female. It's about a miserable multimillionaire stockbroker who gives up everything to live homeless and pursue his passion of writing in Washington Square Park. And, from there, you learn what's truly important in someone's life. Will it be, maybe material and wealth seems to be important to most people today. It's really not important in the grand scheme of things. And the
Mhm.
protagonist, Evan Bloom, finds that out and lives that, honestly. That's kind of his pursuit, is to find what's truly important to him and what's truly important in the world around him. So he kind of sets off on a journey and meets various people along the way and lives homeless and builds a life for himself, not only as being homeless, but builds a life for himself after being homeless at the end of the book. So you learn a lot about a lot of different things in my book.
It's an incredible story, and these characters are incredible. I feel like I know them after reading the book, and it has just all those elements we all want, right? There's a little romance, there's a little suspense, there's a little intrigue, there's a little, it's just phenomenal. And my favorite thing about this book, you know what's coming, is he is, of course, a poet, and he does something you do, right? Called 5-minute poetry. And
That's what I
so
do.
listeners, this is where I want you to observe there is something special about you. There's something special about their book. There's something special about everyone. And I encourage you to find that thing and maybe use that as a springboard. And so Scott and I are going to do an experiment. So you're going to ask me a few pieces of information, and then you're going to take 5 minutes while I pratter on about marketing, and you're going to craft a 5-minute poem, right?
No problem. My pleasure.
All right. So my name, as you know, is Jennifer Bright,
Oh,
BRI.
let me get my notepad out, Jennifer. 1 second. All
You
right.
have it.
Let's do it. Hold on.
You have one of those special pens. It's always about the pen in the book.
The Pilot G2 pen is
Pilot, that's it. So,
the main
pilot, if you're
character.
listening, it's always the pilot. So, Jennifer Bright,
Yep.
my hometown is Allentown, Pennsylvania. And I want this to be about three things that are special to me from people that I've lost, which is butterflies, feathers, and pennies.
Feathers and I like all that.
So we're gonna give you 5 minutes to craft a poem about that. I'm gonna set the timer.
All right. And pennies. All right.
All right. And
I
what
haven't done this. I have not done this in 5 years, Jennifer. I'm very excited right now.
this is really cool. So you're going to work your magic. And so, friends, I'm going to pratter on and entertain you while Scott writes my poem, which I've been wanting to do ever since we met. And this is actually a really cool thing that he for real did for real in real life. And it's a really integral part of his awesome book. That's all I ever wanted to be. And so if that interests you, you can get this book on Amazon. But let's talk a little bit about marketing while Scott is writing. So so many people come to me and they say, I wrote this book or I want to write this book and I'm a writer, but I'm not a salesperson. And I said, that's okay. You don't have to be a salesperson. Don't think of it as selling your book because so many of us are introverts and we don't like to sell anything. I said, think of it as telling people about your book. People who care about you, people who want to know you, they want to hear about your book. They want to know about your book. And so one of the first things I recommend is start with your inner circle. Start with your Facebook fans and talk about your book. Bring people into your world. People are fascinated by authors and writing. Everybody wants to write a book, but most people know they never will. And so they admire you if you have done it. So on your Facebook page, maybe share a little bit about how'd you get the idea? How'd you create these characters? How'd you come up with their names? How'd you come up with the story? Where do you write? What's logistics? People want to know. How on earth do you find time in your busy day? You have a partner and a house and children and laundry and God forbid a cat. How do you make time to write? Bring people in on that adventure. And then when your book comes out, share that journey. Are you going to be going to any stores, doing any presentations, maybe going to a library? Have you donated a copy of your book? All those little details about your author journey is fascinating to people. So once you bust beyond that Facebook, you don't want to saturate. At some time people are going to be tired about hearing your book. So you have to take it to the next level. And the next level could be things like giving a presentation. Can you share something interesting about your story, about maybe you've written a memoir, what's interesting about your history that you could do a presentation on at stores, libraries, groups, networking organizations. All of those places are always looking for people to come and speak. And so, for example, I often recommend to my friend Scott here, like you have this amazing talent that nobody else has. You can write these 5-minute poetries, halfway there, my friend. Why
All
not
right.
take that and use that to promote your book? Another idea is to create something about your book that you can share. So if you're going to do an event, for example, create a coloring sheet or create a little giveaway. Another idea to take you beyond that level after you've done presentations is check into things like podcasts, radio shows, local TV. All of those places are looking for people to come and talk. And guess what? They love it when those people are authors. And so, perhaps you have a local radio program. Perhaps there's tons of podcasts. And if you can't find one, start one. If you need help, look out to me. I just had a call with a wonderful woman today who helps people set up their podcasts. Another thing I highly, highly recommend for authors, a great way to get out the word about you and your book and your work, start a YouTube channel. I could not believe how easy this was to start this channel. It was really simple. If it feels a little challenging to you, ask a young person. They know how to do it. And if they don't, they'll figure it out. Think about your niche and then what your audience might be and what you can provide to them. So, for instance, my channel is a traveling publisher because I combine two things that I love, publishing and traveling. Scott, for instance, perhaps someday we'll do a YouTube channel about 5-minute poetry because that's one of his superpowers. I have another author. Her name is Andrea Foxcroft. She has an amazing YouTube channel called From Shattered to Whole. And so think about a YouTube channel because every time you're talking to people, you're building your brand, you're talking about your book. Perhaps you maybe then may create a little bit of a giveaway. And you can create one of those sales funnels you hear about. So maybe, for example, if you've written a book about surviving divorce, maybe you have a tip sheet, a PDF. You can invite people to go to your Facebook page, go to your website, share their email address, and then they can get that free downloadable. Now you have a way to promote and reach out to them. And so you look like you're almost done, my friend. You have
I'm
about
done. I'm done. It's not long, but I wrote something.
all right. Well, that's even early. So, all right, we're going to stop. Okay. So, perfect example, friends, of a case in point. Here you have an amazing, talented author who's written this amazing book who has this gift. And so, Scott's going to share this 5-minute poem, which is a great vehicle to promote his book because this is such an integral thing of the story. So, what do you have for me, friend?
I got 6 lines, nothing crazy, but Spreading my wings like a butterfly, taking flight with feathers. The people in your life are meant to be together. Pennies in the wishing well wear hearts that never tether. Jennifer Bright lost loved ones in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Love never dies, but memories can stain you.
My God, that's amazing. I can't believe you did that in 4 minutes and 36 seconds, friends. That's incredible. That's incredible. And
Thank
you know
you.
what? You made my day. I feel like that was the greatest gift in the world. I
No,
can't.
come on,
That was
Jennifer. It wasn't
amazing. That was incredible.
that.
That was incredible. So, friends who are listening, wouldn't you love to see more of that? Shouldn't Scott do a 5-minute poetry YouTube channel and read
I'm
this
for
book
hire.
because he talks about it in this book. And so that's an example of how you can take something that's so special about yourself and use it to help to get the word out about your book. So thank you, Scott. Do you have any
My pleasure.
questions, anything for me about
I have no questions, Jennifer. Let me just tell you, I'll go on record and tell you, Jennifer, on camera, that this is the greatest person that you can ever work with. What Jennifer means to me in my life and what she's done for me in my book cannot be put into words. She's such a blessing. She's the best person. Work with Jennifer. Trust me, it'll be the best decision you've ever made.
Oh, thank you so much, my friend. That means so much to me because right back at you. Your book was pretty early in my publishing journey. And so to get to work with you on this amazing book that came out so well, I'm so proud of it. So thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much, friends, for watching. Remember Scott Gendal, find him on Amazon. Thanks so much. Like and subscribe for more. Thanks.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.